Oh, there we go. Okay, we're live. We're live, and we got a star-studded cast. And I finally learned how to fucking figure things out with my new laptop. So not that you two guys need a introduction, but I got two ifbb 212 superstars with me tonight, and we're going to do the Arnold Classic predictions. So I got Jason Arntz and Jose Raymond. And Sean Clarita is MIA. I don't know where he is. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think Clarita's holding out for some more cash.
Yeah, I think
He is Mr. Olympia after all.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. That's for sure.
Well, now that he won, he doesn't want to be slumming with Jose and I. He wants the big shows.
Yeah, that's right. He only does Generation Iron.
Right.
Let me ask a question here quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
You guys are both from New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Why the hell do you have such different accents?
Well, I grew up in New York.
All right, that explains it.
Yeah.
I'm more central New Jersey. I'll say a few words and people they'll hear a little bit of New Jersey, but I've always been told I don't have much of a
You don't.
North Jersey. North Jersey is really where the stigma comes from. And Staten Island, New York, those guys are
yeah.
But Jose, you should know this, that the Boston accent was just number one sexiest accent and voted in the States this year.
Well, I didn't know it was voted, but I knew it was sexy as hell.
Right.
Really? Holy
Now,
shit.
Jay, you think you lost your accent a little bit just from all your business dealings, worldwide, countrywide, and having to go to different meetings and speak to different dialects, and you think that's how you lost it, or you never really had a heavy one?
I don't think I ever had it. I mean, as far as I know, I don't think I sound any different from what I've been told from years ago when I told people I was from New Jersey. When I say I'm from Jersey, people go, "Oh, okay, I get it." But I've always been told I don't have much of a New Jersey accent. But I hear I even hear from people when I visit and talk to people in North Jersey. Like they sound more like New Yorkish to me.
Yeah.
If you're from like Jersey City or Hoboken, well, old Hoboken, not anymore.
Yeah,
but
anywhere in Bergen County, you get that.
Right. Yeah. Well, I grew up, I was from Brooklyn, and then like everybody else from Brooklyn, you moved to Staten Island, right? And then I moved out to Jersey for my wife, like, I don't know, 11 years ago or whatever. But my accent is fucking horrible. It took me a while to get used to listen to myself on this podcast. Forget it. And you got to hear I did one YouTube video podcast with all the people that used to live in my old neighborhood in Brooklyn. And it was like the accents, it's just out of control. I went back to listen to it. It was like, holy shit. Especially I had a bunch of girls on from the block they used to live on. And it was like, the accent sliced right through you. It was unbelievable.
It's like watching an old episode of The Sopranos.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. It's exactly what it is. And I had my brothers on, and they didn't even know how to turn the computer on either, and so on and so forth. So last week, I do this one show called Guy Talk. It gets no fucking views whatsoever. It's just me and my friends, and we sit around drinking and talking shit, and we pick a topic, and we just talk mad shit. A lot of times, we're just fucking off. But one of the rules are you got to drink when you're doing Guy Talk. So if you get invited, there's three of us, and then you got the rule is we invite a fourth guy, and you got to drink. That's the rule. So I was drinking wild turkey. So I was sipping on wild turkey honey. And I fucking spilt the whole thing on my laptop. Yeah.
So the mics went out.
Yeah. So I was no. It lasted. It took some time before the laptop fucking took a shit, but it finally took a shit about an hour later. But I was like, all right, fuck. So I was really drunk by the end. Like you could see it. It turned out like an hour podcast at the beginning. By the time I got to the end, I was fucking wasted. Right. So, and I don't drink much, like at all, right? So, the next day I bring the thing to Apple, and they tell me, okay, it's $800 to fix it or $1,000 for a new one. And I was like, well, give me a new one. What's the point, right? So they give me a new one, the whole thing, and now I don't know. There's all these glitches and shit I got to figure out. So last week I was supposed to do this with Jason and Sean. That took a shit because I couldn't figure out how to turn my goddamn webcam on. And then last night I had to do a Zoom episode with a bunch of arm wrestlers. And I couldn't figure out how to put my headset and my microphone on. The whole thing fucking took a shit. All because I was drinking fucking wild turkey. I got wasted and dumped the whole cup glass on my fucking laptop.
Bad stories of acute alcoholism.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. So desktop bodybuilding just chimed in.
Leads to destruction in so many ways.
Yeah, it really does. But I don't know. You have a hard day and you sip on some whiskey. It's not bad. It's not a bad deal. What do you think, Jose?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you don't fuck up your podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So desktop bodybuilding is Xavier from Australia.
Good guy.
He asked William Bonac versus Brett Wilkins. Who wins? Honestly, right now, I say Brett Wilkin. What about you guys? Because Bonac seems to be falling off, and Brett.
It depends what version shows up for either of them.
Yeah, well, we only saw one version. He only did one pro show, right, Brett?
Well, I mean for William. Yeah, I think William has all the potential in the world to make a big statement at the show. I just think his past few showings are not up to par for what we've seen in him in the past. And it's I think with William, we were expecting so much because he made such a huge impact a few years ago.
Yeah.
And he kind of didn't pale up to that in the previous shows. So, but dude, if anybody could do it, it's him. And Brett Wilkin, I think he's more of a great look, small waist. I'd go with William on this one.
Okay, yeah. What do you think, Jose?
The way it's trending, William has gotten gradually worse the last 3 outings.
Yeah.
And obviously Brett is getting much better, and I expect a better version of Brett at this show. But that being said, the William of 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I don't think Brett would beat that just yet, because he was so round, so full, so big everywhere, and so hard. He's lost that crazy pop, that uber roundness everywhere, particularly in his legs.
Yes.
In that, having a short torso, you need humongous legs to counterbalance that waist. Otherwise, it makes him look like he has a blocky waist, and he doesn't have a great midsection with 6-pack abs. He's got 2 abs, and I'm praying for William to come back like he was when he was, arguably winning the Olympia. He placed second at least once.
2020,
yeah. And I'm also very high on Brett. I really like his physique. He's very complete. He brings incredible condition. Certain shots, he will beat William. I think in the front lat spread, it's not even close.
Right.
Because of those wide shoulders, the small waist, and he gets those pecs are crazy. But that said, there's certain things that William does still have. That side leg, hanging hamstring, the glute tie into his leg. He's very impressive, and he's got some knockout shots.
Definitely.
I hope if he's healed from whatever leg injury he had a year or 2 ago. I still haven't seen those crazy quads since that leg injury. If we do, I think William could do it. I think he could be top 2 with Brandon. I think Brandon's going to run away with this show.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think? I think it's do or die for William Bonac in this show. To be honest with you,
could be.
I think if he doesn't come in like his old self, I think it's on a downturn. But that's the life of an athlete, right? And you get the new blood coming in.
Well, do or die as far as being an Olympia threat.
Right. Yeah.
He can still win the New York Pro or the
right.
smaller shows because he is still crazy impressive. All he's got to do is come in shape.
Yeah.
Which he always does. He's still big enough to win smaller shows, but when we're talking Olympia, Arnold threat, yeah, you're right. This is a do or die show for him.
Yeah, definitely. So before we get into that, I just wanted to ask you two guys. I probably already have the answer, but I just wanted to know. So you guys know that they're bringing the Masters Mr. Olympia back.
I heard that.
So
I was eating asparagus right now. I see what I'm watching you, dude.
Yeah,
I know you're up to.
I wish. I'm a dumb bodybuilder. That's all I know how to cook.
Right.
People are like, you still eat like that? I'm like, that's the only way I know how to eat.
Yeah, I hear shit about it all the time. I haven't changed, one bit.
Yeah.
Still eating the same. We're still weighing it. I still weigh it.
Yeah, I'm just not, sauced out of my mind and 240 pounds in the off season. I competed between 208 and 210. I'm 208 right now.
Yeah.
But I don't look anything like that.
It's a different one. Me too. I'm closer to 200, but it's a different weight, but it's comfortable.
Yeah.
Big Jay, what was the biggest you were on your off season?
I got up to 238 at one point, and for me that's heavy. I was still in good shape, but I wasn't a guy that got tremendously sloppy in the off season. I kept my composure, and I didn't. I liked feeling athletic. I like feeling like I could move. I like being limber and mobile. And I remember, you lean over to tie your shoes and you're out of breath, at that weight, and your stomach just feels it's just in the way. Even though it's still small to a certain degree, it got a little embarrassing. And I always said, when I retire, I'm going to get back down into like my old light heavyweight shape, and just feel athletic and be able to move and run and function, or functional type training too. But yeah, 238 was the heaviest. But I always felt more comfortable when I was dieting down. Like when I got closer to 212, 215, I'm like, oh, this feels good.
Mm-hmm.
And, I would have loved to maintain that, but taking the kind of shit I was doing to maintain that, I wouldn't want to sustain that type of hormone therapy, lifelong.
So the question up on the board is basically, no, you guys aren't going to do the Masters Mr. Olympia.
No.
Well, the first person as soon as I found out, the first person I contacted was Vinny Galante, because I know he would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Vinny will do it till the day he dies.
Absolutely. There's no
he's
question.
gonna walk out. They're gonna wheel him out there, or with a walker, and he's gonna still be firing away.
Yeah, he's gonna do the handicap division because he just can't walk anymore because he's gonna be 70, not because he's crippled.
God bless him.
Yeah. Oh, and one more thing. I had just heard this. This is insane. Did you see what event that they're adding at the Arnold Classic? Did you actually see what they're actually adding?
No.
They're adding slapping contests at the Arnold Classic.
Oh, I've watched those.
And Schwarzenegger and Logan Paul is promoting it.
I bet.
This is a fully sanctioned slap the shit out of you contest at the Arnold.
You ever seen the girls do it?
Yeah.
Dude, you hit somebody, it don't matter. You get cracked in the chin, dude. You're gonna go down.
The best part is if you see the pictures after, because when they get hit, it looks like they're taking a good shot, and then when you see pictures of them 24 hours later, their face is out to here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do you want to do that, dude?
Dude, it's a sport.
Apparently,
it's a pastime.
It's like huge.
I wouldn't even want to do that with my hand. That would hurt my hand.
Yeah.
Never mind getting hit in the face.
Yeah. And imagine that, imagine the confidence that it takes out of you if you haul off and you as hard as you can, and the guy just looks at you like nothing happened.
Right.
And I'd be like, I'm fucking done here. This is ridiculous.
I'd like to see the kind of crowd this brings in. I'm interested to see the demographics of it, see how popular it actually is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It'd be like a bar scene, girls with their titties out and guys chugging beers, funneling beers.
Yeah, that's right. It's got to be. But let's say, here's Rita West. Hey, Rita, slapping contest, but no women's physique or bodybuilding. That is true. Or 212 and no 212. That is very true. I didn't even think of that, Rita. You're right. That is insulting. It's a slapping contest, but no women's physique or bodybuilding. That's right.
Apparently there's more money in slapping than there is in 212 or women's or bodybuilding. I don't know why they did away with the 212. It
Me
started,
neither.
I thought it, and look, I don't know what monetarily what it did, but just the word on the street, people used to get excited about it. Like it was something people could look forward to or look up to, or hey, that's what I want to do one day. Make it to the Arnold. Some of these guys, look, and the smaller guys, they're never going to be on the Arnold stage.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's a monetary thing where they can't afford to put the athletes up. But I don't know. I kind of find it hard to believe that it doesn't generate some sort of income where they could put this or offer something to the women as well.
What do you think, Jose? Because when I interviewed you, you had a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth from the Arnold Classic.
I did. I think I did it every year they had it. They had it 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think they played with it too much. I think, it's the only show I've ever seen that had 5 years and 5 different countries win. It was just odd to me. I'm not saying that it was fixed or anything like that, but it sure seemed a little fishy that we had Wales, U.S., Japan, Kuwait, and
that's right.
wherever Kamal's from. It just seemed a little fishy that there were no repeat champions. There were it just I don't know, and I think it was a slap in the face to get rid of it. We had a ton of great competitors that worked hard and helped build that division, and there was a great following. It was in the expo, the prejudging. People were going nuts. People were watching. There were plenty of fans. I just don't understand it. I don't know. I think Arnold has like a personal thing about the 212 guys. I don't know if it's because he's tall and they're short. I'm being honest.
I don't see. My opinion is everything falls off. Everything comes off of bodybuilding. Like you wouldn't have any of these other categories if it wasn't for bodybuilding.
Well, so you would think also, Jose, on that last comment, with the smaller, shorter guys, there were 2 classes in the Olympia in Arnold's day. It was Franco and Arnold battling it out. So
that's it. Yeah, right.
No, I would think I think he'd be a little more compassionate to let that ride, or maybe he didn't have the final say in it, or maybe it was just a monetary. Like I'm a promoter also, so I get it when it comes to the logistics of it and what brings cash in and what your expenditures are. So I do get it from a business point of view, but dude, come on.
It's ridiculous. I don't get it, but whatever. It is what it is. I mean, honestly, when I watch a bodybuilding contest, the only ones I'm watching. I mean, this is just me. It's just I'm watching open 212 women's bodybuilding and fitness because the fitness chicks were doing the flips and all that crazy shit. That to me, that's impressive.
Dude, I used to love that. Now it's been reduced, to what it is.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
I was looking, because I'm a 212 guy, so I get it. But I would look at the 212s first before I even check the open. That's what I was.
Right.
The guys I compete. I mean, maybe not so much anymore, but these are guys I competed against. So I wanted to see how these guys are doing and how our class was evolving and growing, and the popularity, because it seemed like it was on track to really build up to a certain level, and it just seems like I would say they never really allowed it to get there. They kind of just pulled back for some reason.
Well, I mean, it's not. It just seems that Arnold doesn't want it, or at the whoever the powers that be are in the Arnold. I'm assuming it's Arnold, because it's the women's bodybuilding and 212 is still everywhere else. Women's bodybuilding has made like a severe comeback with what is it, the Jake Wood and Wings of Strength, and 212 is still a hotbed in the New York Pro and the Olympia and so on and so forth. I mean, there's a lot of talent in 212.
They're still not paying them. They're not.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
You're talking 10 years later, and there's still $3,000 shows.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right.
So there's that's why there still are so many of them, because it's cheaper to put on a 212 show and people will come and watch it. So it's a bargain for the promoters.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You
You
know,
would think so.
Jason, that'd be a great idea for you. Put a 212 on. The New
Right.
Jersey Pro, have a 212 bikini and the amateur. Have a pro-am, and you'll make a killing.
Yeah.
You know, the sanction fees aren't that much, and the
Right.
prize money's not that much.
Right.
You know, if I was able to do it, if I had real money, I would definitely put on a show for 212 guys with real money.
Yeah. I don't know
a
about
minimum of 10,000 first place.
I don't know about Massachusetts, but in New York and New Jersey, there's powers that be to put on a pro show. Am I right, Jay?
Well, to be honest, I never even contemplated or discussed a pro show. I'm an MPC promoter, so I'd have to obviously get approval.
Right.
But it's something I'd be open to discuss in the future. I mean, I think that's a great idea. Because you don't see that.
Yeah, it is a great idea, but there's always been one pro show in New York, probably for a reason. Just my opinion.
New
I
Jersey.
don't know. Yeah, same people. I don't know. That's my opinion. I don't know. All right, so let's jump right into it. Did you guys ever compete together?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, plenty of times.
Yeah, at least 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, at least, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever
We
beat him?
did New
Jay?
York together a couple of
Yeah,
times.
I think I beat him a couple times in the beginning when you first turned pro, and then he kind of, I was a little older, so I was in a decline, and he was moving up, and
Right.
and when he moved. See, the thing is, he came in at a great time, man. I wish, and look, I'm still thankful for being able to compete, at the level I did in the 202s and the 212s, but and I wish it was a few years earlier. They didn't introduce it until 2008, the 202 pound class. They would have started that 2004, 2005. I would have enjoyed that. But Jose kind of dominated, my field. The last few years before I retired.
But he was the mass monster in 212 for a long
ass,
time. Yeah, absolutely.
But he was grainy. He was in shape. He was. Yeah. I always loved competing with Jose. Man, we had a good camaraderie, and he just brought a different attitude. There were some guys, dude, and I'm not going to mention names, but some guys that are just dicks. They're just. It is what it is. They're just dicks. But
I had the mindset that I was blessed and lucky to be doing it. So I was so excited. And then when I got a little taste and, people started telling me, some bigger name people telling me, dude, you can do well. You can be really good. I started taking it more seriously and doing it full time. And I always had the attitude that I was very lucky and that it can be taken away at any moment. So I always was very respectful and happy to be there. Where I know what you mean, Jay, is a lot of people were like, this is mine. I should win. I should this. I should that. And I'm like, dude, we're lucky to have this. Are you kidding me? I was psyched to get a $3,000 check, even though it cost me $5,000 to get there.
I was happy. And I think we did it. I think I did 4 Olympias. I think you were in at least 3 of them with me.
You did 08?
I did 08, 9, 10, and 11.
Yeah, we were 9, 10, and 11 together.
Yeah. Did you do 8?
No, I wasn't pro yet. I turned pro in 07, but I broke my leg right away, and I took a year off.
Right.
And 9 was my first year. Yep.
How do taxes work with contest money? Like if you come in first place,
we have a lot of deductions. Fortunately, it costs us more than we're earning, so there's not much to declare. It's like a complete write-off.
All right, good.
It is.
All right, good. All right, so let's jump into it. What do you guys want to go? You got to go from 1 to 10. Well, first of all, this
we had a few missing. I think there's only 8 now or 9.
There is. Let's see. Who dropped out? Akeem was the last.
And Nathan are gone.
I don't know if was Akeem actually confirmed. I thought.
Yeah, no,
I heard it, and then I heard it wasn't actually confirmed.
MD confirmed it, saying that he had COVID.
Right.
I saw him in the gym, about a month ago. I mean, he's fully clothed. I didn't know what he looked like, but Then Nathan had like a bicep tear or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then Rafael Brandao decided he's going to do the Arnold Classic Brazil, which is probably a good move. And Shaban is out.
Wow.
But everybody else is, from what I could see, is still in. Now, there's rumors floating around on social media that there's going to be somebody else dropping out beforehand, but you still don't know. I don't know. Who knows what it is? So we got Bonac, Max Charles, Brandon Curry, Samson Dowda, Regan Grimes, Steve Kuklo, Cedric, Justin Rodriguez, Brett Wilkin, and another Brazilian bodybuilder who I'm going to destroy his name, Fabio Giga I hope
He's a big boy.
Yeah, he is. But I don't know how he's going to fare up against, he's a
Was he last year's amateur Arnold winner?
I don't know. I have no idea.
He might have been. I think
he is.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So what do you think, Jose? Who's winning this?
I think Brandon's going to win. I think
you mentioned Regan.
What's that?
Yeah, Regan's doing it.
Yeah. Yep. I think Brandon's going to win. I think he's hit his stride for the last many years now. He's a former Olympia winner, former Arnold winner. He's been second at the Olympia 2 years in a row. I've seen pictures of him and he looks unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just his flow, his shape, his roundness, his size. He's got everything. He's the only one that has everything.
Yeah.
At this point in time.
Yeah.
So it would be a travesty. It would take an injury or something bad for him not to win, in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said I think he's going to run away with it. Just all the things I just explained. He's so round. I would have had him win the Olympia last year, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I thought he checked more of the boxes than Rami. His flow, his midsection, he's just prettier. And it's not like Rami's condition was outrageous. I just like his look. It's a real pretty, kind of back to that Flex Wheeler type of look with that roundness and the prettiness to it. So I got him winning.
What do you think, Jay?
I agree on all the points Jose mentioned. I think he's kind of. I definitely agree. He was better at last year's Olympia than he was the year before.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But I think he's at that vital age where, I know it. When you get older in the sport, and Jose, I don't know if you felt this in your later years, but there's a difference between how you look 2 weeks out when you start aging and the way you look the day of the show, because the way your body responds to those last steps of drying out and dehydrating and that maturity and holding on to some of that hard-earned muscle, it's different in your later years. It's harder. I've experienced that it's harder to hold on to. To be honest, man, I'm liking Regan Grimes. Under Milos's care, I've seen, he always had the potential to do some damage. He was just lacking, the visible size, but he has that structure, that nice classic look, and he's a good looking guy. So he makes a good argument to be a front runner for this.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, I've seen some of his videos. He's putting the work in. He's busting his ass. I love seeing that. I love seeing.
Yeah.
It just that goes miles for me. But I think he's going to have a huge impact. And if William shows up, I think that could be your top three. If William shows up right, Brandon and Regan, that could be your top three right there.
Okay.
But I'll tell you, those three. These are the three elites out of this group. I feel the rest of them still have a little bit something to prove, to be a little further when making an Olympia statement. But I think these three have the potential to do some damage, for the remainder of the year.
Yeah, I think. I got Brandon Curry winning too. Number two, I'm going to say Steve Kuklo. I think he's got something to prove after last year, and I saw some progress pics, and he looks fucking insane. That's who I would put. then it starts getting tricky because then you don't know if Bonac is going to be himself, and then you get all this new blood coming in, and they look good. Like Regan looks good, Brett looks good, and don't forget Samson Dowda looks fucking good.
Big dude.
And I mean, he talk about structure and shape. I mean, he has pretty, as far as I'm concerned, probably the best structure out of the bunch. I mean, with the exception of Cedric, but Cedric's been kind of falling off. Now, what do you think, Jose?
I agree with Jay about Regan being the up and coming guy. He does have beautiful shape, structure. Certain poses are just outstanding, but he's not there yet. I don't see him cracking the top 4 yet.
Yeah,
I think there, and that would be a great placing for him at this point in time at 26, 7 years old. He's got everything it takes. He's just not big enough yet for that structure. He's like Kuklo. He's like a Kuklo, but not as big. Mm-hmm. So he's not going to beat Steve, and I don't see Steve winning. So I think Brett, it has a pretty structure too, but he is thick.
Yeah,
and he's
big,
not 6 feet tall. Brett's like 5'9" and change,
mm-hmm.
and he does have that real pretty structure, like a Regan, real wide shoulders, real great taper, but he's a lot thicker. Mm-hmm. So I do see, out of those two, I would see Brett placing ahead of him, and I don't have Brett winning. I would have Brett in the, a real good day would be the 2-3 spot for Brett.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Jose. I have Brandon Women, Kuklo second, and I have Brett third, only because he looks amazing. He's, like you said, he's shorter in stature, but he's thick and hard, and he's also working with what's his name, Sean Clarita's coach. Nick Walker was working with him, but they just
Matt Jansen.
Right. Who, he's pretty damn good. And we've seen in the past that the Arnold Classic, as far as the Open goes, they're not afraid to push the new guys. Last year Nick Walker won, and I remember there was that year Luke Sandow came in third. They're not, where the Olympia you kind of had to pay your dues a little bit. It's not nearly as bad as it was. So I think you're going to see a lot of new blood. I think you're going to see those. I think you're going to see Brett. I think you're going to see Regan, Samson. I think they're going to be in the mix. I mean, I don't think they're going to be in the top. I would put Brett third, and then I had Bonac fourth, only because I'm going on his last couple of outings. I mean, he might put me, make me a liar and come in second and be lights out like he used to, but I can only go on his last outing.
Right.
And then again, it gets tricky again, because I think Samson Dowda has a prettier physique than Regan. And if you see Samson, I mean, he's in shape, man. And I think he's working.
He looks good. The guy's he's a future. He's a future star.
The thing with Samson, what he's missing, Regan has. Samson has a very weak back. It's weird. He's got awesome legs, good arms. His back is weak, so it kind of throws his physique off, because he is a tall guy. Mm-hmm. He's got to be 5'11", 6 foot as well.
Yeah,
and missing those body parts, if everyone's in shape, I think Regan can beat him. I think Kuklo will beat him, mm-hmm. and I think Bonac. We're not going to know until people stand next to Bonac, because his maturity and his thickness and roundness, even if he's off, even if he shows up like he has the last few years, he's still bigger, thicker, harder than most of these guys. Mm-hmm. He has freak factor on all of them. So I don't see Samson either. I think Justin Rodriguez is going to beat Samson.
I was about to bring him up.
I really like Justin's physique.
I agree. I do too.
He needs to concentrate on the midsection, holding it a little tighter. But he's got some killer shots. Yeah, he's the widest guy on stage.
His shoulder to waist ratio is unbelievable. Yeah.
Well,
He could jump.
with him, I think there's still something because he is so wide. I think he's just missing more of that thigh flare or sweep that'll help complement and create that X look, that I think he needs because he does have everything. He's pretty complete. Just a little more thigh sweep to make his lower half look as wide as his top half.
His legs got bigger, but he seems to lack separation in his quads. If that, and that seems to be probably to me his biggest problem. His legs got bigger, but his last out, you don't see that huge separation all the way up to his waist like you do with a Samson Dowd or a Regan or.
Well, that could be a maturity thing, or maybe he's just not incorporating certain movements in his training. That's something you could change from one competition to the next. Maybe he's not dialed in as perfectly. There's some people that just hold water in certain areas that they haven't learned to get rid of, or from lack of maturity. And I don't mean maturity from an emotional standpoint. I mean from a muscle maturity, consistency type of thing. Like our looks when we first started competing were nowhere near the middle or the end of our careers, and that all comes from doing these protocols time and time again. You build that. So it's something that he just might need a little time on. But I think what shows the most is that flare from his thighs that would really complement his front relax shot, his rear relax shot, even his quarter turns, just to show a little more balance, which is pretty much all that guy needs, dude. He's gonna.
I agree. Yeah,
make a statement.
I've seen his progress pics on Instagram, and he looks so far better than ever. He looks the best he's ever looked.
Yeah.
He's still I know he's got some time, but he doesn't seem to have the hamstring striations or glute striations or the separation in his legs all the way up. I mean, the separation, but not like you look at a Samson Dowd or Regan Grimes and look at their legs, and it's like the separation's all the way up to their hip. It's unbelievable.
Well, and again, it's hard to make these predictions because we're going based upon pictures of when we see them last. But
yeah,
it all comes to those last 48 to 72 hours of what these guys do. They're either sucking dry too much or they're hitting it it's really hard. I don't think I've ever hit it perfectly once, maybe once in all the shows I've done. I felt like I've timed it perfectly, but it's not an easy task, and sometimes you need a little more of that maturity to, like, even if you suck a little too dry, you'll still maintain. But it all comes down to who does that final prep the best, because any one of these guys could beat one of the others. There's like I said, the top three that I feel are the standouts, and the rest of them you could shuffle them. That's right. Yeah. Any way you want, depending on their last 24-hour, 48-hour prep.
Mm-hmm. Now, one guy that nobody's talking about is Max Charles. I have not seen any progress pics. I know he doesn't work with Milos anymore. I don't know what happened. He didn't have the last couple of showings. It seems as soon as he stopped working with Milos, he really started falling behind. I don't know what the issue was, and but he is set to do this contest according to who's registered. So I don't know. What do you think?
I don't see him as a threat to beat any of those names we just said. I don't see him beating Justin. I don't see him beating Samson. I don't see him beating Regan. I don't see him beating Brett. And I definitely don't see him beating Brandon or Bonac.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a 7th, 8th place at best.
Yeah, I actually have him in 9th because I have Cedric and Justin ahead of him. What do you guys think about Cedric? I saw some of the progress pics. It looks like his legs are a little down in size. What do you think?
I think, as Jason alluded to earlier, as you get older, he's in his 40s.
Yeah.
He's been at it a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's had some injuries, and God bless him for still doing it and, showing up and trying to be his best. But I clearly think his best days are behind him. And, especially a big guy like that. He was 288 pounds when he won the Arnold Classic.
Wow.
The guy was gigantic. He's not carrying near that much muscle anywhere, not just his legs. but his arms, his back, he's a lot smaller version. But when you love bodybuilding and you love doing it, you keep doing it, and God bless him. I love the guy. I think he's awesome, and
he's such a likable guy.
Yeah, he really is. He's
such a likable guy. It's hard to. You don't even want to critique him, you know.
Yeah, it's hard to root against him. Yeah.
Well, plus, he's had some great moments, in this sport on stage. He's had some, and he does have that great classic look, for a big guy. I know he's had some health issues recently, which have caused him to back out of a few shows, maybe not look his best at a few shows. But I think age is not his ally.
Yeah. Well, my favorite moment is when he humped Arnold Schwarzenegger on stage.
Yeah.
So I don't know much about Fabio Jigger Resende. I think I'm pronouncing it right. I don't know. I apologize if I'm destroying your name. But what do you think? He's probably the newest out of the bunch and the least recognized.
Good physique. Good physique. Big dude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, big dude, small waist. It's hard to say. You want to see him up again. Look, all these guys alone, they look like champions.
Right.
They all look like champions.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we could throw this back and forth, but at the end of the day, until we see them next to these top guys, you don't know. Everybody looks great alone, and then there's guys like, that were at our level when Jose and I were competing together, and they all look great alone. But then you get to that top 5, top 6 spot in the Olympia, and it's a different ball game. So I think there's guys that have a lot to prove in this show. I think most of them, or probably all of them, except for the ones that are in their later years, have the potential to do some damage, especially now at the lineup. There's not really a lot of guys that are really standouts. So it's like it's a good fair level for everybody. You have your few standouts, but majority, especially for all these smaller shows, they're up for grabs.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I can say about the Brazilians is he's definitely not worried about where his next meal is coming from. And he has the ultimate support system. He's a full-time bodybuilder. All he needs to do is train, eat, sleep. And, they have amazing camaraderie over there.
They do,
And even here in Boston, the Brazilian community is outrageous. I mean, they all train like animals. They come in packs to different gyms. All the women, the guys, they're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And in Brazil, it's even crazier. And they have older bodybuilders like Eduardo Correa mentoring them. And, I think this kid I don't know anything about him, but I know he's Brazilian. He won the Arnold Classic. He's in the Arnold Classic. He's definitely on the right track. I bet he doesn't come in last. How's that?
Yeah.
With all those names we just said, I bet he won't be last.
Yeah, I think I agree. I don't think he's going to be last either. So let's run down a top 5. Let's see each top 5. So Jose, you go first. Who do you think is going to be in the top 5?
In particular order or just top 5?
Yeah, 1 through 5.
All right. I'm going to say Brandon, Brett, William, Kuklo. Brandon, Brett, William, Kuklo, Justin Rodriguez.
You really got Steve Kuklo that far down, huh?
In 3rd? In 4th?
Yeah, I gotta actually have him in 2nd.
Well, he's never stood next to Brandon or William.
Okay.
It's a different type of muscle.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I love Steve and I love his physique and I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
But he's like a giant white dude. And it honestly, and it's a different type of muscle than a grainy, hard, round, bubbly, freaky 5'6" black dude.
Yeah,
totally different look.
No, and you know what? Now that I think about it, you're right. Because last year's Arnold Classic, it was Nick, Ian,
and hold on, let
Steve.
me.
Yeah, you're right.
Before I, there you go. It was all white dudes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And before I go any further, I think William was severely overlooked at the Olympia. I think he was overlooked. I think what was he, sixth, fifth? Sixth place.
Was he sixth? You might be right.
Yeah. I think he was overlooked. He was a little flat, and he still had that crazy, grainy, hard muscle, but he was a little smaller, a little flatter. And you had Nick the Mutant Walker, and you had Hunter.
Yeah. That's
who
right.
I think was pushed. I didn't see Hunter in fourth place.
No,
I would have had Nick Walker in fourth place.
I think we all would, yeah.
And I think William's better than he's been placing. And I think when you put him pose for pose next to Kuklo, next to Regan, I think he's going to shine. So I think that highly of Brett. I just think that he's big enough, and he's not 6 feet tall, and his condition is great, and his symmetry is great. I have him as high as second. So Brandon, Brett, William, Kuklo, Justin Rodriguez.
What do you think, Jay?
So I could go with Brandon and William anywhere in the top three. Any one of them probably winning. I'm gonna throw Regan in this mix. I think Regan could do better than a Justin or even a Brett. Not to diminish those guys. I think those guys fall into place also. I see more things happen with Samson.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he could crack into that. He's an impressive guy, man. He's got some holes. Don't get me wrong.
And he's a great poser, and that usually means a lot in the Arnold Classic.
He's just dynamic. He gets out there and he opens up, and it's like, oh shit, dude! Like, he has that little bit of that wow factor. That you look for in an Arnold. So I got to throw him in there. Kuklo, of course, man. And I didn't mention him before, but I don't mean to count him out. I just think he hasn't been up against some of these physiques before, so it'll be a great opportunity to prove me wrong. Not that he gives a shit what I think, but to prove something to himself. But definitely put him in the mix. But I don't know. I think Regan's going to make a statement. I think Brandon or William winning. And I think you can mix Samson, Kuklo, Justin, and Brett. I like Brett.
Yeah.
But you could see the difference when you saw him next to Hunter. You could see a difference when you had him next to a Nick Walker, where he looks great, but he's one of those guys where he might just look great alone. You put him next to somebody, you put next to a William or,
that was 8 months ago.
Yeah.
True.
And Brett is a growing boy.
I agree.
And he has that thing with Jansen where, like Nick Walker, Jansen basically lives with him. Right. He will spend like the last 10 days prior to the show with him, 24 hours a day. His 100% job is to make him absolutely peeled and prepared and ready. And the new size that he's put on, he's going to be 5'9", 255 or something, low 250s.
Wow, yeah, that's a big boy.
In that type of condition with that shape, I expect huge things out of him.
Yeah. Now I have the least experience out of the three, so my opinion is should be held to the least. Okay, but since it's my fucking podcast, I got Brandon first, and if Bonac comes, the old Bonac, I would put him in second. But if he's the Bonac that showed up in the last couple, I still think that Kuklo is going to come.
He could be pushed out of the William could be pushed out of the top 5 if he shows up the way he's been.
Yeah.
We're anticipating the best of all these guys.
Right. Well, if it's the best, then William, I would put him in second, and then I would put Kuklo in third. But I honestly think Kuklo's got something to prove after last year, because he was supposed to take second, and then at the last minute they knocked him out, and Ian got second. And then I think Brett's going to be third. I think then I think you're going to start seeing new blood. And I got William in fourth. And as far as fifth, that's a rough one. I'm either going to say that's a rough one because it could be Samson, Regan, or Justin. I guess I'd have to. Oof, that's a hard one, man.
So you know what sucks? What sucks is there's only 9 guys.
Yeah.
So the guys that play 7th, 8th, and 9th, you're gonna what they do, but all these guys could be in the shape of their lives, and unfortunately, 3 of them are going to be 7th, 8th, and 9th. Right. So it doesn't look good at the overall scheme of things, but all these guys could be deserving. It's just a well-rounded or a good balanced lineup. So you wish there was more competitors. That these guys could not make an 8th place showing look like it's have a little more dignity. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it is what it is.
I think I'm gonna. That's a tough one. I think I'm gonna put Samson Dowda in. I think Samson is going to pull a Rafael Brandau and beat everybody on shape. I think Samson with another 5-10 pounds with if he improves his back next year or the year after, I think you're talking like an Arnold Classic winner. But like you said, man, we got to wait to see. It could be, it's mixing and matching once you get past the top 3. But I think Brett's going to take. I think I got him as high as 3rd.
Yeah.
But is your trainer? You guys would know. Is your trainer that important? Like if Matt Jensen is living with Brett and taking him by the hand, does it make that much of a difference?
Do you think he would have went from classic physique to a 260-pound monster without that trainer?
No, definitely not. I don't think so. I think my opinion is trainers help a lot, which is why I think Max Charles fell off, because it seems like once he left Milos, and you could say the same thing about William Bonac, because when him and Hani Ramrod, not Hani, who was it?
It depends on the person too. Okay. When Jay and I were coming up, there were no coaches.
No, there were no gurus.
There might have been one. We did it ourselves. We learned our bodies. It took time to figure it out.
Right.
And that was kind of the fun of it. Mm-hmm. And now these guys don't waste any time. Yeah. I get messages every single day. I want to do a show, but I don't have a coach. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I can understand I want to do a show, but I don't have a gym membership, but I don't have a coach. You don't need a coach.
Yeah.
Train, eat, and do the show. You'll learn as you go.
Yeah, right. Just get your feet wet. Right.
But now every one of them has a coach. And yes, it does matter, because these guys haven't figured out their bodies by themselves.
Yeah.
They haven't done it themselves. They don't know exactly what to do. They don't want to waste any time. So, yes, the coach matters. And the fact that Jansen is so involved with Brett every breath, it's going to matter. And I'm very convinced that he's going to be in tip-top shape, just as Nick Walker was. And I think he's going to make close to, unfortunately, Brandon Curry's going to be there. But if he wasn't there, he might make just the same type of splash as Nick Walker did.
Nick, yeah. And Nick is just.
And now without Nick, Brett is the number 1 guy in Jensen's camp there. So that's putting all his eggs in that basket.
I'm the worst guy when it comes to coaching, because I did it all myself. I only knew to do it myself. And I worked with a couple guys, but it was just more for second opinion type of stuff. Like, this is what we did. And I get it. There's some guys, they don't want to take the time to learn. It's exhausting, and it's exhausting enough just prepping for a show, not having the faith or self-assurance to figure your own way out. It's easier to have a coach. And now there's a million coaches, but just like Jose was just saying, I think Matt Jensen now has something to prove, because the fallout, whatever transpired between him and Nick, now Brett seems to be his guy that he's pushing. So he's going to want to make a huge statement. So he's going to make sure Brett's in the best shape he could possibly be. And this will probably be one of the best Bretts we've seen up to date. And with I'm sure it's only going to get better. You know, Matt knows what he's doing, and he's earned that respect of being one of the top guys probably the top guy in the industry right now.
Absolutely.
But it makes having a trainer makes a huge difference. You know, it could go from, just like we said, getting a first place check, you know, and trophy to being down the line because you can't time it right. Some of these guys, it's not easy, you know, and you hear all the Monday morning quarterbacks afterwards. Well, he did dude, you don't know how your body's going to respond. It's not like
Guys, keep going. I gotta take a break. Give me 1 second. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Look at how someone like Hakeem, when he was doing coach hopping, and he was coming in unbelievable, and then he was way off, and then he switched his coach, and then he's way off, and then he has a good appearance, and then he switches his coach. So yes, the coach matters.
Right.
You know, definitely. You know, even Regan, he's been through almost every coach, and now he's finally, you know, he's connected with Milos. They have some sort of rapport that is clearly working for him. Right. He's been able to put on a lot of muscle in a short time and bring the condition. I think these coaches absolutely matter because of what I said earlier. These guys never took the time to learn themselves.
What I like also about Regan working with Milos is that's a guy from, I mean, you know, I competed with Milos. He was even a little before me for a few years. So it reinstates those old school training methods and philosophies that I know that's what you looked into coming into the sport. It's what I was, you know, what I was born in the sport seeing every day. And nice to show people this is what works. You know,
how the fuck does Joe Rogan do it not taking a piss for 3 hours?
He's got a bag.
He's got a bottle under his desk.
Apparently, I mean, yeah, he does 2-3 hour shows. He doesn't stop to take a piss. I'm like, I don't get it.
And he's got a major sponsor by Depends.
Right.
I think also, like Matt Jansen, Milos is a guy who's all in. You know, Regan's out there living in Vegas now with them and training with them every day. And those things matter. You know, when I train clients, my best clients that I've had the best results with are people that I see 2, 3, 4 times a week. And I train with them. And I get to have that impact as well as, you know, the nutritional side of it. Mm-hmm. So that's a huge thing with Jansen and Milos that I like. And that's why I think their guys are doing so well and will do well in this show.
Yeah, and I think Milos is working with Samson too, right?
Yeah,
he is. Yeah,
because clearly he's not in the UK training with him.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No,
I just think Samson has more imbalances than Regan.
I agree.
He's maybe more mature, his physique, but Regan has a prettier flow, is a little more balanced, front to back, top to bottom. Mm-hmm. Samson has better arms. That's the only weakness I see in Regan is the arms. Mm-hmm. And it's quite a weakness when you have these long arms and you're 6 feet tall and you have such a good back and good legs. You know, his arms are a weakness for that physique. Mm-hmm. You know, they'll come up, but you'll notice it when he's standing next to Bonac with 22-inch arms.
Right.
With arms that are.
So you really think Regan has a prettier physique than Samson Dowda, huh?
I do. I think he's more complete. Okay. Because Samson's legs are so good, and his back is relatively weak in comparison. His physique is awesome. I mean, I love his physique, and it is a very pretty physique. I just think Regan is more balanced.
Okay. All right. I think we're good. First, before we go, I want to say. What's your website? iPrevail Subs?
Yes, sir. i-prevailsubs.com.
Yeah.
Jose's the featured athlete.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's good shit. I use the pre-workout. It's a fantastic pre-workout, and it's good tasting, and definitely like if you want to go to the gym and then like fucking build a fortress afterwards, that's the shit to take. It's unbelievable. You got anything to plug, Jose?
Just me. I'm a good-looking bastard. Here I am.
You are handsome. That is very true. You are handsome.
Even at my advanced age here.
All right, fellas. Listen, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank you two guys for coming on. It means a lot to me because I've talked to Jason Arntz about this, and you guys are the guys that I looked up to. I idolized. I watched videos of you guys working out and got into the gym and got motivated. And now, you're on my podcast and we're talking together. So it means a lot to me, guys. I really appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Are you kidding? Believe me, I'll be busting your balls to come back for the wrap up. Don't worry about it.
Hey, I do want to plug one thing, and it's not for myself. It's for my good friend, Nate Tello. Nate opened a gym in Boston.
Badass gym.
For anyone coming to Boston for the Boston Pro, if you want to come try out his gym, it's called Gym Hub Boston on School Street, 27 School Street. It is unbelievable. It's a small facility, but he's obviously going to let the pros and people he knows come in and, whether it's for a photo shoot or just training the week of, you definitely want to check it out because it has, all hand-picked pieces that, only a real bodybuilder would understand. And you'd love it. So, check out Nate's gym when you guys are all in Boston, whoever's here.
All right. You heard it first. Okay. So basically we'll find out in a week and a half what the results we'll find out.
And you'll see that I'm correct in everything.
Jose knew everything beforehand. Yes. All right, guys. Thanks a lot, fellas. I appreciate everything.
My pleasure. Peace, guys.
Have a good night.